So we are going to see today about JSON. So I'm going to here and taking one more folder, calling it as AS8, and going to Visual Studio, and I want to open this folder in that. So file, open, website, JS8. So I just opened it in Visual Studio. Now I'm going to take a file, some HTML file I'm taking, and calling this as JSON.html. So JSON.html is a HTML file, and yeah, that's script. So what does JSON? What does JSON is about and those things. So JSON means JavaScript object notation. Okay, so you want to write an object in a JavaScript, so there you use like these things, JavaScript object notations. It means like simple JavaScript objects. Okay, simple JavaScript objects. So there are ways where you can stringify an object, and again from a string you can make an object, like both the ways. You can make an object to a string and string to an object. So let's create some JSON objects and see how they look. And the JavaScript JSON objects means JavaScript objects. Let us see how they look and what they do and those things. Okay. Let us take small object. I'm taking an object called obj. Okay. So this object, for an object, what is the notation? Flower brackets. So by taking the flower brackets, you get an object. So I'm saying employee ID. So employee ID is let us think 1, 2, 3. So like this, you can give the object attributes and their values. So key value page. So everything will be a key value page, and it will be enclosed with the flower brackets. Okay. Next, I can say emp name or a simple full name, and I am saying here so my name. Okay. Then afterwards, what I can have? I can have an email. Okay. So email. Like this, you can go on creating the parameters. Okay. Sorry, attributes and their values. So something like b@gmail. Okay. That's my email ID. So like this, you can create objects. Okay. So this is a example of an object. Okay. Here inside the object, you can have an attribute and array also. For example, marks, or let us make employee, right? So what employee will be having? Let us see marks. So marks, let us think what these are the marks I have got. So 10, 20, 60, something like these are the marks, something like that. Scores, let us think. You can also have a function actually. So functions. So some function, like I'm taking a function, calling it as print my details. Okay. Print my details or print details. Let us call it as print details. So this function is going to print the details of the that object or any of the object. Okay. So it can print the details. So I'm just supplying the emp object, and it's going to print them. So I'm just saying console.log. Then I can give the details. So I can give the details like emp or simply id plus I will call it as emp.employee id. Okay. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to print them. So console.log and all the other details it's going to print. So it's going to print the full name or name. Let us call it as name. Here full name and email. here email, here you get email, marks. You can directly print marks. It will be printed like an array. Then afterwards, that's it. Those are the things we have. So we can have a function too. So you can have functions, you can have arrays, everything in an object like this. Okay. So this is how you can create an object. Okay. So let us use this object to print the details. Okay. So how to print the details? Just call obj dot print details. Okay, and just supply the obj. You can supply the obj or anything. Okay, then it's gonna print the details here, and this object can be converted to, or let us print the object itself. Simply let us print the object. Console.log, and let's print the object. It should be small console. I think so.
One open brace.
Yeah, one more open brace. So console.log, simply I am printing this object. Okay. So first print the object. Later we will discuss about this one. Just I'm printing the object what I created. Okay. So I'm going into my like browser and inspect, and I'm going to console. You can see it is printed. So this is about some favicon. Don't worry about this one. Just see here. You have the object. So this is the object. These are the key value page. So you have a string. You have a number. You have again a string. You have an array. You have a function. And that function definition also you can see here. So the function. This is total function. Okay, and so that's about how the object looks. Okay, now I want to stringify this object. Okay, so I can use this function to print the details. Also, something like when you see this, you can see this is the employee object, and these are the details printed using this call. Okay. Okay, so I'm just commenting this so that I will get only the employee object. Okay. So employee object and the details. Now I want to stringify this object, convert this object to string. How to convert? So where, okay, obj string. I'm just calling it as obj string. So I'm stringifying the object. So JSON dot stringify. You are saying JSON stringify, and we have to supply the object. So what object you are going to supply? Any object you want to stringify, that you can supply. So I'm converting that into string and printing it again. So I'm printing the object as well as object's string. So first line it will be the object, second line it will be the object string. So you can see the difference. So this is like an object. See here, this is an object. This is the object string, and you have to see, once you stringify, the functions will not get into that object. You got it? You can see the function is not into the object string. You got it? So only arrays and the normal things can get into the object. Okay. So some functionality can't get into. So that's about stringifying the object. You want to convert this object string back into an object again. You want to convert it back into object. Let us think. So how to convert? I'm saying that something like re-obj. I'm calling it as re-obj, like you are converting it back. So how to do that? JSON dot parse. And in this you can give any JSON string. So any JSON string you can supply inside this parse. So this will convert the string back to the object, and I want to print that object. So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking console dot and printing that recreated object. So what we did, we have a object, we converted it into a string, and again we are converting back into an object and printing it. So the first one and the last one, if you look, there will be some difference. See, here you can see there is no function. So once we stringify it, the function is removed. And you got it? Okay. So that's what I want to just show you. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to supply this object here. This has the details which it can print, which can be used to print. So that's gonna print. So as I can see, it's gonna print details, but it doesn't have the function itself. So this is what the details about stringifying and again making the object back. Okay, you can stringify the object. You can again convert the string to an object also. Okay, object to string, string to object. Okay, so I'm just gonna write here. So here what we did, object to string we did. Then what we did here, string to object. Okay, so that's the difference. So this is about JSON. Okay, and these JSON objects, like any object of or Java object, you can use. Like in a for loop, you can iterate. Okay, many things. We already saw much detail about the objects like previous. So this is about JSON. Okay.
So what's the use of JSON?
Yeah. So this is one of the notation to represent a data. Okay. So you can represent any data, some format of data using JSON. So the main use of JSON is transportation. Like this is a universal transportable format. So you can transport the data from one system to another system or one language to another language in a string. You can convert the JSON string and you can convert back again into object also. So you convert it into a string and then transport it and then again you pass it to again object. So like that you can do. So mainly from backend you can like from Java or .NET backend you can make the object in the Java to JSON object. So Java object will be converted to either JSON string or JSON object. So you can convert it into a JSON string and send it to the UI, and in the UI again you can convert back into the object. So there are some ways to do it. I will I can show you in a diagram. So let us think you are coding a system in let us think you are coding a system in Java. Okay, so this is a Java system. So or .NET, Java or C#. Let us see. Okay, so this system is in Java C#. So you have some class object. So let us think you have something called so something like you have where emp equal to new employee. Okay, and you have that employee object. You created it. You want to send that to the UI. So what you're gonna do? You're gonna convert this employee object back into JSON string. So what you are going to do? You are going to convert that into JSON string or EMP JSON. Let us call it as EMP JSON. How you gonna convert? You're gonna have you have many functions. So using some function, like it depends on the environment. Like Java will be having the functions and .NET will be having the functions. You are gonna convert that Java object to JSON string. So this is a JSON string. Okay. So what you did? So I am writing here what you did. So you did. So you here created Java object. Okay, that is what you did here. What you did here? Converted Java object to JSON string. That's what you did. After doing this, what you gonna do? You're gonna send this to the UI. So you're gonna send this EMP JSON to the UI. So from here you're gonna send it to the UI. fine. So you're gonna send it to the UI. Let us think you sent it to the UI. So in the UI, what you are going to do? Again, you will be having that string, right? So let us think this is a UI. So in the UI, you have that string. So this is the UI. Let us think. Or here I am writing UI. Okay. So in the UI, you will get this emp JSON string. This is a string actually. Okay. So what you are going to do in the UI again, you are going to collect it in some variable using JSON or Ajax or some call. So let us make some. So in the UI, what you are going to do is where. So in the UI, you are going to collect that where emp JSON equal to, you do some $.ajax or some call, Ajax call using jQuery or AngularJS or anything. So you do $.ajax and you give the URL, and you will get that JSON string back into the, you will get that JSON string back here. You're gonna collect it into a variable. Here you have that string. So whatever the object you have here, it is converted to JSON. From here it is sent, and in the UI you collected it using the, like you made a call, and here it is caught here. Okay. So from here you're gonna again make emp object, construct the emp object back. So emp object, how you are gonna construct? You are gonna say JSON dot parse, and you're gonna give this emp JSON. So this is how you're gonna convert that object back into JSON real like object. So see, object here converted to string, sent here, caught here, converted back to JSON. You can do something like this. Sometimes like you directly get an object itself. It depends. So whatever the method you are using, it depends. Okay. So and you can parse it after you got it. Like you can traverse the object and bind it to the UI or elements. That's what you are going to do in the UI. So this is how you are going to use that JSON. So it is used for transportation. Okay, and it is like you have a Java system here. You can send it to UI, or you can send from a Java system to .NET system. You can also you can also send between the languages. So Java can understand the JSON, and C# can understand JSON. So you can make the two languages interact with each other or any other language. So that is a data representation format. Okay. So let us. I will show you one tool. That tool I call it as mock arrow. This is one of the websites. This website is mainly used for generating the mock data. Mock data means a data where you can use for testing. Okay? They also have another website to produce the APIs, mock APIs. So this tool, let us think these are the fields. Okay, these are the fields like for an object. So see, I just want to show in how many ways an object can be represented. Okay, so I'm just saying like produce 10 records in a CSV, and yes, in a CSV. So I'm just saying preview. So these are the records. So it's gonna produce. So like ID, this is the first name, last name, email, gender, IP. So you can see in a CSV it looks like this. CSV means comma separated value. Same data in table format it is looking like this. Same data in CSV format is looking like this. You can convert this into again table. Okay. Okay. Same data in CSV format it looks like that. And in JSON it looks like this. Same data in JSON looks like this. Yeah. So this is how you can represent it. This is called JSON format. Okay. What is that? It is an array of objects. Okay. Okay. So same data, tab delimited is another format. So tab delimited is another format. Like between every element there is a tab. Okay. Separate them by tab. So this is called tab delimited format. Same data you can represent into SQL. So SQL you can see insert into and all the data. It will insert into the table. Means the same data which is in SQL can be converted to JSON when coming to the UI. You got it? So that is how the data changes the format when going through different phases. Same data in different formats, in different languages and different places, we change the format. So same data, if you wanna make it into a Cassandra SQL, then this is a Cassandra SQL. Insert into same thing. Okay. So that is Cassandra SQL. And Firebase. Firebase is a Google new database. Okay, Firebase is that. So they have got a new thing. So you can see this is the Firebase format. They give an ID, unique ID to the each element. So it looks like JSON. Okay. So that is about Firebase format. Same data in custom format, like you can make a delimiter, your own custom format, your own format. So you can make your custom format. This is like comma separated value, same format. You want to separate you want to have some other separator, not comma separated, hash separated. You want making, so you can get a hash separated values format. So like that, okay. And this is the same thing in Excel. So Excel is same thing. Like you can download it, you will get it in Excel. Same thing in Excel, and same thing in XML format. This is the XML format. Same data. See here that they write XML tag on the top to mention the char set. UTF-8 is the char set. That means like we are using. There is some conventions in the char set, so they mentioned that. Then afterwards they started the data set. Like this is like a data set means array. We call array, and in that array there are many records. So same data records. Okay. So DB unit XML. So this is also one type of XML. It is like a mock data like that you get. Okay. This is called DB unit XML. So you can see one data can be represented in many forms. So data is changing the forms. Same person, different dresses. You got it? So and you are just changing the dresses, converting one format to another format means you are just changing the dresses. String to JSON object or string to Excel, XML. See, let us think I have this XML. I want to convert this to JSON. So I'm just writing here XML to JSON tools. There are many converters. You can also convert. So I'm just opening this tool and I'm providing here the JSON. So when I click here, you can see it is converted to JSON. So XML, JSON, same data. And you can convert back. I remove this to say convert back, it converts. Okay. So what happens? Same data can be represented in different formats. So JSON is one of the mostly used format, widely used format. Okay. XML is also one of the widely used formats, and it is universal transportable format. Okay. So
when they write something in the JavaScript, they will use this thing like JSON and
JSON. Yeah, mainly they use JSON. So this is about JSON and their advantages and data, how it changes forms when going through different phases of development. The same data will be in the form of records or rows in the table. When it gets to the Java or .NET or C#.NET, it changes to collection of objects, like an array of objects or a list of objects or a set of objects or map of objects. Then afterwards, from that objects collection, it will change to JSON array in the UI. Okay. From JSON array we bind it to the UI. So changes the different formats in the development. Okay. So from one place to another place, it changes the format. Why? Why need to change the format? Because like it is easier to maintain, or it is easier to code in that format. It has many functions we can apply in those formats. That's the reason, like that. Okay.
Like what is the using for a convertible? Like directly they can write for the JSON.
Everywhere can we use JSON? Your question. Yeah. The question is like coming to the database. It need to be represented in the SQL like database form. If you use JSON, it will be like a string, and you cannot have relationships, something like what we are going to have in databases. So that's the main reason they made it into the tables. Okay. So like that, there are different usages. Okay. So that's about JSON. Okay. So after understanding the JSON, we are going to see the prototypes. So what are prototypes? Simply I can say prototype means object constructors. Object constructors are called prototypes. Okay. So I'm gonna create one prototype. Okay. So add new item, just calling this HTML page, calling this as prototype. Prototype. So I'm taking here one script tag. So I want to create a prototype. So I can create a prototype for anything. So I'm just for an object. So I'm just creating a prototype for, let us call student. So this is the one which is going to create a prototype for the student. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is this dot. I can give the name. Is equal to, here I am giving the name. And here I am giving ID. So this dot ID is equal to capital ID here, small ID here. So this is one of the prototype. Okay. So and one more thing. So this dot let us make what I can give email. Okay. And email is equal to email. So this is what prototype. Okay. So what it gonna do? Sorry, I need to give this. Just forgot. Okay. So this is a prototype which this function can create objects of student. Okay. So I'm using that prototype and calling s1 is equal to student. After student, I need to give name, ID, and email. Okay. So name, ID, and email. I'm just giving name as Vikas, ID as 123, and email as v@gmail.com. So this is how I can create an object. I want to create another object. So how can I create another object? I can create something like this. Student, something like I am calling Ram, and 345 is the and r@gmail.com. So like this I can create the objects. So what is a prototype? Prototype is a constructor to create objects. Constructor for objects. Prototype means constructor for the objects. So you wrote a function. So the thing is, like in JavaScript there are only functions. Like object, like you want to create an object, you have to, it's like a function. So like this you can create the objects. So function, this is a constructor which you have 3 parameters and assigns to the this dot, name this dot like that, and this is the we named that constructor with one student, and you can use student constructor to create student objects. Okay. Now I want to print this. Okay. So console dot log. I can print. So I can print something like s1 dot name. Okay. Plus just give some space plus s1 dot email plus give some space then s1 dot id. Let us see. That's what I'm gonna print that s1 object. So and second thing I am gonna print s2. So s2 dot s2 dot s2. So what we did so we did here you can see student like a constructor to create the objects, and we created the objects. This is called prototype. Okay. So I'm just gonna view it in the browser. Name of undefined. Just give me a minute. What I wrote is right. That's what you can create many ways. So what it is showing, cannot read property name of undefined. Yeah, you can create like this or like this too. Let us create like this. Okay. That's what the property is about. That's it. Sorry, I forgot here new keyword. Okay, so that's like to create an object like constructor. How we are going to call with the new keyword, right? So that's what I missed. Okay, so view in browser. Console, you can see the objects in the form of string, like you printed them, right? So that's how you can create the like prototypes and constructors. After constructors, you can call them to create the objects. So simple. See, this looks similar to the Java constructors. So Java we have same constructor name, constructor parameters, this dot or .NET. Yeah, we can also use that. I generally use that format. Okay. So where student equal to that one. You can also use that one. So where student equal to function, that also you can use. Like anything works. So the essentiality is like you don't forget this name. Okay. This is about like prototypes. How to create a prototype and how to use that prototype to create the object. And after creating the object, like how can you use the object. So that's about object and prototypes. Next, we are going to see the Ajax. So before going to see the Ajax, what does Ajax mean and what does it do? Let us discuss. So Ajax means asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So what does that mean? Means Ajax is going to make a JavaScript calls to the server or some web services, we can say, asynchronously. What are asynchronous? What does asynchronous mean? Means like there will be a call and it doesn't wait for the call to return back. It continues to do its own work. Okay, I make a call and I don't wait for the call to return back. I just continue my work, and when it returns back with some response, then I'm gonna attend it. Okay, attend or use that response. So asynchronous calls means the calls which are not in synchronous. Okay, so I can show you an image which I like majorly for Ajax. So Ajax images. So Ajax JavaScript images. So see here, this is the image which I like most. Copy image. So here you can see this is called synchronous type of communication or classic web application model. Okay, so this is how it used to be before. So user is doing some activity, he made a button click, let us see. One request is sent, server is here, server does some work and sends back the response. Till the response is received, the client is going to be ID, means the browser is going to be ID, and it's not going to take any other requests or any other things. So it's gonna struck majorly or going through that loading button, like this it goes. Okay, and when you make another request, it goes to server and again processing and again till it comes back, just waits. So this is how it used to be. Okay, and instead of that you can have an asynchronous model like this. See here the browser or here user does an activity. So and there will be the Ajax engine or there will be a call sent to the server. Till the server comes back, the user continues to execute or do some other activity. When it comes back, then it do the display. Okay. Yeah, it can display. So it doesn't gonna wait for the call to return back. You say means it can just go on doing its work. It doesn't wait. Somewhere I can show you clear form of Ajax.
Press the next button. Press the next, like this.
Nothing. Like it's like you send the call and it just. I will show you those things. Okay, no problem. So here you can see. Yeah. So there is an event. It sent the call. User waits for the response. Till that response comes back, he waits. When it comes back, he does something using that response. and again next call, it waits till that request comes back or response come back. Whereas coming to the Ajax model, user makes a call, it will be captured by the Ajax system or Ajax engine. That's gonna make a call to the server, and server gonna process it and sends back. It sends to the Ajax and Ajax sends to us. Meanwhile, user can make another request also. There you can make a request one after the other only once the other first request is received. So you have to wait. Here, no need to wait. You can do your work. That is about Ajax call. So Ajax mechanism means synchronous. Synchronous means like one after other. Synchronous. They are talking synchronously. Like one talks, he waits, other fellow talks, and other fellow waits, then this fellow talks. Like that. Asynchronously means both are independent of each other. Like this fellow can talk and the other person also can go on. They can talk like without any waiting for each other. So this is something like an asynchronous communication. Synchronous communication is something like one does activity after other. Right? Activity, then wait to get the response, then you do the other activity like that. See here, two events. Second event waited for the first event to come back. Response to. Here, second event doesn't wait. It started by its own, and it may come back afterwards anytime. So that is how the Ajax difference. You got it? So that's the main difference. So we're gonna see the Ajax. Okay. Before we're gonna see the Ajax, so what does Ajax? Ajax stands for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So why only XML? Before JSON, they used to use XML widely, and they named it as XML. Okay, asynchronously you are doing the JavaScript and XML, so they named it as XML. You can also get Ajax in Ajax JSON. You can also get XML. You can also get strings, anything. Okay, so that's about Ajax. Next, updates parts of web page without reloading the web page. So this is one of the application of Ajax. This is not only the application, but this is one of the application. Something like you have a web page. Let us think there is a web page, something like this. You want to load only this part, refresh only this part without loading the total page. You don't want to do a refresh like this. Okay, you want to just load only one part of the page. How can you do it? Using the Ajax. Ajax gonna send some request and to the server, and server gonna send the response back, and Ajax, like we process it in the JavaScript and only refresh this part of the page. So what we are saying, updates parts of the page, like any part of the page you can update it without reloading the whole page. So that is about Ajax. Next, the major Ajax object used is XML HTTP request is the object. So XML HTTP request is the object which is used to make an Ajax call. You use if you're gonna make the Ajax call using jQuery also, it's gonna use XML HTTP request inside. If you're gonna make Ajax call using AngularJS also, it's gonna use a XML HTTP request object inside. So any Ajax call, this is the this is the one which it's going to use. So you make it, you make Ajax calling using jQuery or AngularJS or React or anything. It internally has same thing. But for you, you may not know. You may thinking like I'm making the Ajax call using the Angular, or I'm making the Ajax call using jQuery. Yes, you are making, but it's gonna use. They're gonna write it again using this one. So we will see how to make the real Ajax call without using any jQuery or Angular or anything. Just plain JavaScript we're gonna use and make a Ajax call, and we're gonna receive the response. So then how to do the Ajax request? So you have to use this object. And what are the methods? There are two methods. First, you have to open the connection, saying that open, and you have to give the method URL and async. Method means there are some methods where you can which you can use to get the data or post the data. So what are the methods that are available? Yeah, I have not written here, but I can write here. So there are some methods. So what are the methods available? So there are methods available, right? So the methods available. So what are the methods? The methods are get method. Okay, so get method and post method. You can use caps or small, no problem. Put method. Okay, and we have one more called delete method, and there is one more method. So no select. So get is going to do that selection what you are saying. So this is gonna retrieve mainly. We're gonna use this method to retrieve. Okay, it is a restful. These are called restful keywords. Keywords we can also retrieve mainly. Okay, this is used to create. Okay, this is used to mainly. Put is used to update. Okay, and delete is mainly used for deletion. The thing is, you can also see something like use get and also delete. Okay, you can use get method and internally in the server after you get the request you can delete also. But the thing is, like they are made as a universal convention so that you use them, you know what you are going to do. Okay, so those are called REST keywords. And after that we are gonna give here the URL. Okay, what is the exact URL that we are gonna call. Then afterwards we are gonna give here the async. Async means is it like we are going to make it asynchronous call or not. We are gonna give that async, true or false. So this is about the open method. Okay, our open method is like establishing connection. You are declaring what you are, where you are going to call, and what you are going to call, and is it as an asynchronous call or not. So the main methods are get, post, put, delete. Okay, and there are some other methods too. And we also have, like, after this open method we have send method. Okay, send method is used to send the real request, send the request to the server. So this is where the request is sent. Okay, and here you can give the string which I have mentioned. You can give the parameters also. Okay, something the request parameters also you can give. So this is what about the Ajax call like a major important concept. Okay, so and for a Ajax XML HTTP request, object is gonna give us some state, like it has some state. That object has some state. So depending on the state code, we can see at where it is located or currently what it is doing. If it is 0 means the request is not sent. If it is 1 means server connection established. Connection is established to the server. If it is 2, the state means request is received by the server. And 3 means it is processing. And 4 means it processed and the response is again ready, means given back. So these are the states in which the XML HTTP request object is gonna live. So in between these states only it's gonna live. Either not initialized or connected, connected, then request received by and processing, and again response is got. So these are the things.
Does it show anything for the user?
it doesn't show anything for the user, but the thing is like depending on these state things, we're gonna make our own coding. So we're gonna make a coding saying that when the request is received, you wanna see that when the request is received, do this work. Then at that time you are gonna use the request 4. 4 says that the response has received. So when you are going to do the work, actual work, with using that response which is given back, you're gonna test the state. Is the call is finished, everything is ready, can I use it? So it's gonna test using, you're gonna check these status, okay, or states, and do that. Next, it also the request the response object also has some codes. These codes gonna indicate what has happened with the request. If you're gonna see a code with 2 and starting with 2 and some other code like 200, 201, 202, then it means the response is success, okay, but it might be like there are other, like 201 says some different thing, 203 says something different, like, but essentially if it starts with 2 means the response is success. Similarly, if it starts with 4 or 3 means redirection. 304 means it will redirect to other page. Okay. Then 4. If it starts with 4 means there is a client error. Client error means something happened in the client itself. The page is not found, or the URL is wrong, or the parameters are wrong, a bad request, or it can't send the request. Then it will give you the client side error, that will be 4. And the other thing is with it starts with 5. 5 means an error has happened in the server itself. Okay, so these are the only 3 4 types of the errors you're gonna see. Okay, if it starts with 2, it is okay. 4 means forbidden. There are also some other types of errors like starting with 1 and some other things. Okay, so these are the major things. So that's about Ajax. So in order to understand Ajax, first you have to understand what is XML HTTP request object, and there are 2 methods, open and send. After getting the response, you're gonna see these statuses and those states and these statuses. Okay, these statuses has different meaning. Okay, you may get this one, along with this one you may also get this one, server error. Means 4 doesn't mean, 4 says the response is received by the client, but that doesn't say that you received a response. That response might be wrong thing. You got it? So this is about the status of the XML HTTP, whereas this is about the response itself, a response code we say with us. Okay, so this is one of the example of how to do check using those states. So we will say when there is any state change, means there is a state change, right? These are the states. So if there is a state change like 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, or 3 to 4, any state change, it gonna fire this event. It is automatically gonna fire this event. In this event we gonna check whether the state is 4 and the status is 200. Means you have received the response and the response is okay. Received the response and the response is okay. That means the request is sent successfully and the response is delivered successfully. When you have these 2 things right, then you are gonna get that whatever the response you got, you're gonna take the text and bind to the any tag, any element. Okay, this is what you're gonna do using the Ajax call. So let us do the Ajax call in an action. Let us do it in an action and see how to send a call and how to get the response back and how to bind it. Okay, so let us see a simple Ajax call mechanism and let us do that work. Okay, so for that I need some either a web service, or I can also use JSON file stored in my system also I can use, but I will try to use a web service. So what I'm going to say, so URL JSON URL web service example. I'm writing something like this. I'm just closing this. So JSON test, this is one other thing. JSON placeholder, this is one other thing. So let us see. So I'm going to use this JSON, simple JSON. So this is the JSON I want to use. So what is that? Date.jsontest.com. This is the what I want to use. Okay. So you can also use these things. So this is how we do Ajax using the jQuery. So let us do this one. Good thing. Okay. So I want to have this one, this URL. So I'm gonna take Ajax. So I'm just gonna take here some script tag. Okay. And what I'm gonna do here, my intention is I have a div. Let us think. I have a div. I'm calling this div with an ID, saying that result div. In this result div, I wanna do, or let us take a table. Okay. So let us take a table, and upon button click, I want to have a button, and on clicking this button, I want to make a call, and get posts. I'm saying, and I want to make a call and get that all the things and bind that to this table. Okay, that's what I want to do. So how to do that? Let us see. So I'm just writing where let us I can write the URL itself here. So I'm just writing the URL. I wrote a URL in some place. Then afterwards I am writing function. I'm writing here get posts. So get post is a function. So that function gonna make Ajax call and return the response. So what I'm going to do, or bind it. So I'm saying XML HTTP request object I need to take. So I'm naming it as HTTP is the one. So sorry. So I created the object first. First thing I need to say is create the object. So I created the object for XML HTTP. Then afterwards I am saying, after you create the object, you're gonna say open, and you're gonna give, here you can see open, then you're gonna give the method, those things. So small open, you're gonna give the parameters. So what are the parameters? First thing I am saying get. Then afterwards, second thing I am giving URL, the top one, and here I am gonna say true. Asynchronous is true. So this is what I am saying. Okay. Then afterwards, there is nothing, no parameters. So I am just saying that send. So these are the two things which we need to say. Open the request and send. And also I need to write on state change, like when there is a state change on ready state change. So if there is a ready state change, so what you gonna do? So you're gonna do some work. So that work you're gonna write it here. So you're gonna say if, you can take this one. So if there is a ready state is changed to 4 and the status is 200, means you receive the response, then you're gonna do something with here. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this result div and I'm gonna press inner HTML is equal to some response text I want to bind. Okay. So this is what I want to do, but what I'm going to do is I'm gonna var response is equal to I'm gonna get that response text, right? So this is not response text, you're gonna get that response text. So this total text you are gonna get it here. So after that I'm gonna create it back to the object. Okay. So I'm saying post array is equal to JSON dot parse, and I'm gonna give, you can directly give the response text. Okay. So I don't want this. Okay. I'm gonna parse and make it into our array of objects. And for loop I am using, which we studied, where I is equal to 0, I less than post array dot length, or I can do using simply for each where post in post array for each loop or for in loop. You can use like this also, or you can use the for loop, general for loop. And I'm gonna get every post, like all there are posts, right? You can see here there is a post, there is a second post, this is the second post, there are posts. I'm gonna get every post and gonna bind it to the I'm gonna bind it to the table, or I can also do with the div tag also. What we're gonna do with div tag, or we're gonna do with li tag. Let us do li tag, ul tag. Ul tag looks good. Okay. So in this I need to add li elements. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write here var response html. Okay. That is equal to nothing I'm taking, and here what I'm gonna say, response html plus equal to, you're gonna make it into li tag plus slash li. So this is totally like traversing the post what you have received. So you're gonna say post dot user ID. So that's what, and you're gonna say here user ID is equal to post dot user ID. Okay. So same thing you're gonna do again. So what else? What are the things you have? You have ID. So ID post dot ID. Then afterwards title. So title post dot ID. Next you have body. Body post dot body. Okay. So this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna use different tags, but I use these things. Okay. And you're gonna repeat it and bind like add to the response.html, and I'm just taking that and binding it to this result. And you can see this is get element by ID. ID is this. That's it. Let's do it in action. Okay. So you understood what I did? So view in browser. So something has happened. We don't know. Let us see, is there an error? There is an error. Get post is not defined. Get post.
No.
Sorry. What are you saying? Okay, let us do like this and see. What happened? I don't understand. There's something wrong here. It says. Anything wrong? You see?
Function on ready state change as semicolon.
This one. That doesn't matter. Yeah. I wrote here where I wrote it in the form of JSON. Sorry, Java. You got it? We don't write class and object name, right? So I wrote it in a wrong way. You got it? So that's what. Right. Close it. In browser. So you got all undefined. So something like we might have got the things, but something let us test why it is either something like I might be parsing it. It might we might have got it like parsed way. That might be the chance. Let us stop it and inspect it. Okay. So the state is 2, and like every time this is gonna fire, but it's gonna come inside only when the state is 4. Okay. Then the state is 4 and state is 200. It came inside. You can see the array. Okay, so the array, and you're gonna next can see the array of objects, and for each so it says user ID is undefined. Let us see why it is undefined. Let us see the post. So we are getting 0, and like we are getting, so yeah, so what we need to do is actually I don't know why we got 0. You can also do like this. That's it. You can see all the data. Okay, we're gonna have one of this. So for each post you wanna, so these are like all of them are added like LA tags. You wanna add to div, you can also have something like div, and you can say if you wanna make it look good, then you can say something like ul and /ul. So everything will be like into different ULs. So in one UL we added right everything. So now we are making into different ULs. So one UL, second UL, third UL, fourth UL, like that. And yeah, and you're gonna have one horizontal rule. You can also have that one. Okay, line. You gotta make all these things. Okay, so this is how you can make. I wanna make like make this H1. Okay, so you can go on like this. You can have style sheets and those things. So this is how you got response text. You converted back to object array, and you looped through that, got each thing, then binded, extracted the property values from that, then afterwards made that HTML and added it back to the UI. So you can see we made a call to the web service, and we got the data back. So this is how you can make an Ajax call. So this is a plain Ajax call. Same Ajax call you can make using jQuery in a very simple way. Same Ajax call you can make using like AngularJS. Okay, so they're gonna do the same internally. They're gonna do the same work. Okay, so that's about Ajax call. Okay, so this is about Ajax call, and that's for today. Okay, and okay, that's it for today. And I want to give you some assignments. Okay, so my assignment will be
After this, like if I don't know these things, like example,
yeah,
I don't know JSON,
yeah,
along with JavaScript.
yeah.
I want to make some files with the JSON. If they are there. So I can write everything with the JSON, JavaScript. and then I can convert them to the JSON and I can submit.
Yeah.
Is there any, we need to make any changes to the JSON again?
See, like I got this is totally like a string I got. See here, the post like a string. I converted this into object.
Yeah.
And I used here. So you get a string,
Yeah, okay.
you can convert it into object. Why you want to convert it to object? Can I directly can't use string? What happens if I directly use it as a string? Let us do that one. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna comment this. Okay, I'm not doing this one. Whatever the response text I am getting, directly I am binding that to the UI. Let us think. Something like this one I am doing. I got response. Only this total thing is not there, only this line is there. So what happens? Let us see. You got the string and you binded the string. So that string need to be converted to the object. So what I showed you here in Paint, some object is there. They will convert to the string and send you. This is what they have in the database. Their database something. They extracted it. They converted into Java object, C# object or something. They again converted into JSON string and then sent us using the URL. That string we took. See, they created and converted into JSON, sent us. We used Ajax, got that, used the pass, made it into object. Then afterwards traversing, looping through that is called traversing and binding it to the URL. That is what we are doing. So what I have explained before, just same thing I did. I'm going to my drive classes, J8, saved it, and that's about today. And I will give you an assignment. So the assignment is like use this JSONplaceholder.com website. Okay, this website, and I want you to create an application using these resources. Something like see here. So for a user, there are for a user he has album ID and album title. Okay, and for a user, like for a post there are comments. Okay, and post for a user there are posts. Okay, for each user there are posts. Like first user got some posts. You can see 9 posts he got. From 10th post, 10 posts. Okay, second user got second 10 posts something. Third user got third 10 posts. So for every user there are posts. So I will write here. Okay, notepad. There are users. Then afterwards what we have? Every user got some posts. Has, let us say, has some posts. Like each user has 10 posts, and each post has comments. Every post has comment. So every post has comments. Okay, next, albums. Every user has again albums. So that is done. Next again, every user has albums. So this is albums. So every user has some albums. And photos. Every album has photos and their URL. This is the URL of that photo that you want to see. This photo, this is the photo. Okay, so that is about photo. And come back, and to-dos, like every user has some to-do list. Okay, next, there are users, and to-dos are nothing but like title completed or not. Okay, so there is a flag called completed or not. Okay, so my question here, the task, you can think task. Okay, the task is to first, upon opening application, list all the users. Upon opening the application, list all the users. Then second thing, clicking on a user, take to his or her, I will write simply user profile page or user main page. You call it profile page, main page, you are like. Third thing, on main page, on user's main page, show three links. Okay, one link is for posts, second link is for albums, third link is for to-dos. Next, now on users post page, something like three links or three lists, let us say, like post, heading post, and what are the post names only. Like I want something like posts heading, after that one post title, one like post title of post 1. Second thing, title of let us do no, doesn't do like this. We will have, let us do in the same way. 3 links only. Okay, links, simple links on user post page. For every like there will be page, we call it post page. Show all the posts with their comments. Post, you have to show post information, and what is the comment. So what every post has, so every post has what is the user, what is the title, ID, what is the title. Just you show post ID, title in any fashion. You think h1 tag or which tag you want. Okay, you can use CSS or anything. So post, that's upon you, like how good you are going to make it is up to you. Okay, make a good looking application as if you are delivering it to some customer. Okay, so on user post page, show all the posts with their comments. Next, on users albums page. Okay, so albums page, albums page, show all albums like albums with their photos. Like show here album ID 1 and what are the photos. Album ID 2, what are the photos. Album ID 3, what are the photos. Got it? Like that. And their photos. Next, on to-do list page.
This is all with the JSON and Ajax or is it?
Yeah, JSON, Ajax, HTML, CSS, jQuery, everything. Okay. On to-do lists page, show all the to-dos. That's it. And color the completed ones with green and uncompleted with orange. This is your task. Total task of what you have, like what we have discussed these all days. Okay. So you do a application. So in this application you are going to use JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Okay. And to navigate between the pages, you're gonna use like different functions of JavaScript. You have to explore. Study something like you have to know Ajax calls mainly. Next, you have to know about query parameters or URL query parameters. Let us parameters. Okay. And you have to know about processing, JSON processing. So these all you have to know. JSON processing or traversing or something. So this is the task. So I'm gonna give you that website ID. This is a website link to. So task in this website. You have to do this. Okay. And that's what. You click that user. The posts need to be of that user only. And comment for each post again. You got it? So you do this, you will be like learning much on this task. Like you will be learning many concepts. Okay, try it at least. You explore. You use the web. See, like this is the essential thing. You need to know what is URL query parameters, how to read those and how to use those. Like we did a traversing, so how to get a JSON, everything. Let us see how we are gonna do it. Okay, so this is about the task. I'm just saving. Okay, so create an application. So this is about the application and what we have. And next class we are gonna see jQuery. I'm gonna complete almost 3 classes jQuery, I think. Okay, mostly 3 classes. So listen carefully. jQuery is of much importance. So in 3 classes you're gonna see total jQuery. If you're gonna do it in like in any institute or something, they're gonna take at least 3 weeks. I'm going to take only 3 hours. Okay, so I'm making it very crispy. Okay, so like do this work and today and tomorrow, and you can send me whatever your progress on Monday. By Monday, if it is not done, do it by Tuesday, or at least at whatever time you get. Do this. Okay, that's it. It's gonna consume you almost like 6 to 7 hours time. Like if you are new, but if you already have a knowledge on JavaScript and everything, like you can do it in 2 to 3 hours to 1 hour, at least 2 hours. Okay, so that's it. That's it for today, and see you again on Monday. Okay, till then, practice with these concepts, and that's it. I have already asked you to do a drag and drop, but nobody has sent me drag and drop, I think so. So please do that also. Okay. Have a good day.